It's comparison time, everybody. Welcome back to another video on the awesome Suzuki V-Strom 800 DE. This is the 2025 model, and it's very kindly been provided by Versys Motorcycles. Now, today we're going to be discussing where this bike stacks up against its adventure bike competition. So just before we start ranking this bike, I just want to say that it has been an absolute pleasure riding this motorcycle. It's been a hell of a lot of fun, and I've thoroughly enjoyed riding it. And for what it is, considering that the spec sheet doesn't look all that impressive, it's very, very good, and it punches well above its own weight. So if you're looking at a middleweight adventure bike from Suzuki, I can wholeheartedly recommend this one. It's very, very good, you guys. But in terms of the adventure bikes that I have ridden, there's a lot of stiff competition out there, and if anything, the competition is only getting harder for bikes to stand out. I mean, the thing that makes this bike stand out is certainly that 776cc parallel twin from Suzuki. It's an absolute peach of an engine, and it works in so many different kinds of bikes. Hey. See what I mean? It's just got buckets of torque, loads of horsepower, and it carries it through the range incredibly well. It's a very, very good engine in this bike. And for sure, that's one of the standout features of this bike in particular, is the engine. So I think firstly, let's compare this to the Aprilia Touareg. Now, I've not ridden the Rally, I've just ridden the regular Touareg, if you like, but I don't think there's that much different between the Touareg and the Touareg Rally. And a similar kind of picture to this, funnily enough, because it's running the same engine as the RS660 from Aprilia. It's a very, very fun bike to ride. It's tuned slightly differently, so it's not producing as much horsepower, but it's producing a little bit more torque, I believe, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. But that is incredibly fun. The Touareg is a very, very good bike, and it kind of resembles more like a supermoto, really, or a dirt bike rather than an adventure bike. It's certainly more off-road oriented than this bike is. This bike is kind of like 50-50 for street riding, the other 50% for off-roading. And I suppose if you are looking for something that is more geared towards off-roading than the Touareg, I mean, that's a fantastic bike. But today we're going to be coming at this from a street riding perspective, because that is what I am through and through. I'm not much of an off-roader, I'm not much of a track day rider. It's all about the street riding for me. And well, that's where it gets a little bit more difficult, because in terms of performance, they feel about on par with one another, the V-Strom 800 DE and the Touareg. I would say that this bike it has a little bit more of a torquey feel to it, but it's not worlds apart. And where the Touareg is riding a little bit lighter than this, that's such a difficult choice to make, which one I'd pick between the two here. But I think I've got to give it to the Touareg, to be brutally honest with you guys. Yeah, the Touareg is very, very good. Yeah, I think it's just got a little bit more of a personality behind it, but it's very, very close between the two bikes. So honestly, you can flip a coin, and one day I might say the Touareg, the other day I might say this. You know, it does go in roundabouts, this kind of stuff, you guys, depending on what mood I'm in and
you know, if I'm in a positive frame of mind or not, but I usually am, to be fair.
I try to be anyway. But yeah, so I think right now in this moment, I think I would take the Touareg over this. Next bike up then, the Kawasaki Versys 650. Now, to be honest, I've not actually ridden the Versys 650. I've ridden the Versys 1000, but I have ridden the Ninja 650 and the Z650 from Kawasaki, so they are running the exact same engine, exact same everything. The only difference really is the seating position. And the thing is, so again, that parallel twin from Kawasaki is very, very good. It's very fun. And again, a bit like this, it punches well above its weight in terms of fun factor. And it doesn't deserve really to be as fun as it is. Because again, the spec sheet just isn't all that impressive. But when you're riding the bike, it's torquey as hell. It carries its horsepower very well through the RPM range. And putting wheelies on it is a hell of a lot of fun as well. Very lightweight bike, much lighter than this. So I think from a riding experience perspective, it's very, very difficult to pick between the two, and the Versys is coming in much cheaper than the V-Strom here. So bang for buck wise, I think I've got to say this one's better, the V-Strom. I think I'd pick the V-Strom over the Versys 650, mainly because of the feature set. You've got the power modes, you've got the good suspension, you've got the adjustable windshield, you've got the quick shifter as standard. There's a lot of aspects about this bike that I think are very, very good value prospects. The only thing it's missing is cruise control. But aside from that, this bike has got more horsepower, more torque, and it feels torquier, and it feels like it means business a lot more than the Versys 650 does. The Versys 650 feels like a middleweight bike, whereas this doesn't. This feels more like a heavyweight, or more on the heavyweight end of the spectrum for sure. It feels like a more meaningful, serious bike. And when it comes to adventure bikes, I think this suits the class a lot more than the Versys does. So I think I'd place this above the Versys, at least the Versys 650. And you know what, I think I'd also place this above the Versys 1000 as well. Even though the Versys 1000, or these days the 1100, it's got a lot more horsepower on paper, it's got a lot more torque on paper. Again, it's significantly heavier and it's significantly taller. And even though it's a really nice place to be when you're riding it, it just, I don't know, it's missing out on performance, because it's running that one, what is it, 1060 cc, or 1043. It was running the 1043 cc inline 4, and that engine in the 1000 SX is amazing. It's so much fun. It's an absolute peach of an engine, absolutely fantastic. But Kawasaki, they decided to detune it, and the V-Strom 1000, it suffered as a result. It's not producing anywhere near as much top-end horsepower, and even the torque just doesn't feel as meaningful either whatsoever. So I definitely place this ahead of the Versys 1000. I haven't ridden the 1100, so they might have changed that a little bit, I don't know. Hopefully one day I'll get the opportunity to take one out for you guys to know for sure, but no, this bike feels far torquier, it feels much nicer to ride, and it carries horsepower through much nicer than the Versys 1000. So yeah, I definitely put the V-Strom ahead of the Versys in that regard as well. What else? Well, I think the last bike that I've got in mind right now, well, we've got a bonus one at the end for you, but the last actual adventure bike that I've got here is the Moto Guzzi Stelvio. Now that's a great bike, you guys. That transverse V-twin is an absolute peach. I friggin' love it. I love it in the Mandello.
and they haven't changed it whatsoever in the Stelvio. It's just as torquey, just as fast, just as fun. Even though the Stelvio is coming in heavier, and to be fair, it's not producing that much extra horsepower, that much extra torque over this bike, but it feels like so much more. Is insane. If you guys have never ridden the Moto Guzzi Stelvio and you're looking at an adventure bike, I'd heavily recommend that you give it a go. And funnily enough, Versys, well, they stock both as demo bikes, the Stelvio and the V-Strom 800 DE, so feel free to contact them and test ride both, and you know what I mean firsthand. But the feature set on the Stelvio is sublime, the riding experience is sublime, the V-twin is, oh god, to die for. It's just a beautiful bike and a beautiful bike to ride. It's an incredible riding experience, that bike, and one of my favourite bikes of all time. So, even though I'm not much of an adventure bike rider, but yeah, I'd definitely pick the Stelvio over this 100%, even though the Stelvio is coming in a little bit more expensive. It is more on that premium end. It's worth every penny. The Stelvio is just amazing. Very, very fun bike, no questions asked. Definitely check out our ride review and the videos that we've done on the Stelvio if you'd like to know more about that bike. But if you're looking at any adventure bike, I'd recommend that over anything else, at least right now anyway. So the final little comparison that I've got for you today has got to be, well, the V-Strom 800 RE from Suzuki. We did our first impressions ride review of that bike back in 2025, and that was a really fun bike as well. Of course, it shares a lot of elements with this one, but the DE does feel significantly different to ride than the RE. The RE is lower to the ground, it's got smaller wheels, it's got more street-oriented wheels as well. And if you're looking for just outright performance, then the RE is probably the better of the two. But in terms of adventure bike feel, it's got to be the DE, you know, it's got to be the DE. If you're looking at one of these bikes, then you've got to be looking at the DE first. But if you are looking at an adventure bike where you're going to be using more for everyday street riding, then of course the RE makes more sense. But having said that, the DE here is more versatile, in my humble opinion. So for me anyway, it makes a little bit more sense for the type of riding that I enjoy, but it's very close between the two, to be honest with you, in terms of overall feel and riding experience, the fun factor. They're both incredibly fun, so it's difficult for me to recommend one over the other. But as I'm here riding the DE, this has got to be the one that I'd pick, and it's a little bit more expensive than the RE, £500 more. It's not that much extra to ask for, really. And for those spoked wheels and tyres, I think it makes a lot of sense, personally. But there you have it, everyone. That's our comparison for today. I mean, the Touareg, I think, comes out on top, but near enough. The V-Strom 800 DE beats everyone else that we've mentioned today. But you guys let me know down in the comment section below if there's another bike that you'd be interested in seeing a comparison of with this bike, and we'll see if we can make that happen. But you know, bikes like the Transalp or bikes like that, I've not ridden the Transalp, so I can't be 100% sure about where the two kind of compare against one another, but let me know down in the comment section below, and one day we might be able to make that happen if I get the opportunity to ride some of these extra bikes, or like the Africa Twin, for example. But the Africa Twin is a sick bike. But Anyway, you guys, yeah, thank you ever so much for joining us today on this awesome ride out on the wicked V-Strom 800DE. If you've enjoyed it, go ahead, leave that like, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos from us coming forward in the near future. And don't forget to check out Versys motorcycles as well if you're interested in buying one of these bikes. And yeah, we'll catch you all in the next video. Everyone take care, ride safe, have a good one.